Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuouki Zuisoroku, the fan disc material, or the extras from the stories of the Shinsengumi for PlayStation 3. We are doing Hijikata's extras, but following through chronologically, we're going to go through the Shinsengumi Adventures 2 here, which, as we go through the different guys' extras, we have to make different choices during the Shinsengumi Adventures, so yeah. As I go through each guy, we're going to go through these and skip through parts that have been reread. This is similarly to how I've always gone through all the other games, skipping text that's already been read. Or else we would just be reading the same text over and over and over again, and that would just be horrible, wouldn't it, really? You don't want to hear the same thing read over, 6 times. Alright, so anyway, Shinsengumi Adventures 2 along Hijikata's route. Here we go. Shinsengumi Adventures 2. The protagonist receives word from Sen that a number of suspicious men have been meeting in Shimbara, and one of them looks like her father. After reporting this information to the Shinsengumi, it is suggested she dressed as a geisha to infiltrate the meeting. Me? How would they not have talked about this in the main story? Or was I really covert and the rest of the Shinsengumi never heard about this? I must say, you were awfully courageous. Most people wouldn't dare to confront a Ronin so. That's our Sen. A girl shouted at a Ronin who was attempting to kick a small child. Before the man could turn his anger on her, I found myself stepping in between them. The Shinsengumi's job in Kyoto was to ensure the safety of its citizens. Protecting women and children from Ronin who wished to hurt them was one of their most important duties. But I wasn't a warrior like them. I didn't feel obligated to move because it was part of my job. I just couldn't let it happen. Because I have morals and standards. That was how I first met Sen. And impressed her. I'd seen 3 winters in Kyoto now. A lot of things have happened to the Shinsengumi in that time. Deputy Commander Ito and his men joined courtesy of an introduction from Heisuke. Oh, Heisuke, why'd you have to do this? Sanan injured his arm. Wait a minute. I'm definitely going chronologically, but it's not... It's been chronological in the list, but this is out of order. Game, you're letting me down with the chronology here. Oh well, just screw it, I'm going along with it. Sanan injured his arm to such an extent that he chose to drink the water of life and became a fury. In order to maintain secrecy regarding the furies, the headquarters of the Shinsengumi left the becoming cramped Yagi residence and moved to Nishi Honwaji Temple. Days passed. The longer I stayed with them, the more I found myself experiencing things I'd never expected. For better or worse, I felt that it was my fate to cross paths with each and every one of them. Kondo arranged for me to meet Dr. Ryojin Matsumoto, the man I'd been trying to talk to since I first came to Kyoto. From him I learned information about my father's research into the water of life. He spoke to me very seriously about the Furies and the danger associated with them. I also, shall we say, encountered 3 men claiming that I was like them, a demon. Kazuma, Amagiri, and Shirunoi. Very sexy men, I must say. As allies of the Satsuma and Choshu, they clashed with the Shinsengumi on multiple occasions. While out on rounds a short while after, I defended a girl. I later learned that she was called Sen, from a Ronin. A few of us also crossed paths with a young woman by the name of Kaoru, who bore a striking resemblance to me. All kinds of strange characters. It was when we were trying to solve the Sanjo board incident that we decided to take a break at Sumi in Shimbara. I don't belong there, that's for guys. A very beautiful courtesan named Kimikiku entertained us while we were there, and I got jealous because she was hanging on Hijikata. January 1867. My relationships with everyone I had met so far began slowly changing. Sometimes some of the events became incredibly important to me, even if others saw them as inconsequential. This story is from one of those times. Shinsengumi Adventures, Part 2. January 1867. Okita and his first division had allowed me to travel on rounds with them. By now, the Shinsengumi Blues frightened off a lot of people, so I was surprised to see someone running up to our unit with a smile on her face. Sen! Chizuru! Oh, Sen!
Hi, who's this girl? Do you know her?
Well, I don't know her exactly. I was about to be accosted by a rowdy Ronin in a foul temper. This person kindly rescued me. Ah, yes, my point. I wish to treat you to some delicious sweet dumplings from a nearby place. As a thank you, of course. What? But I'm on rounds right now. I'm looking for my daddy. I glanced at Okita out of the corner of my eye. The whole unit stood behind him, awaiting orders. He studied Sam with an inscrutable expression for several long moments.
I don't see a problem. If you want to go, go. Good to take a break every once in a while.
Yeah, but if you're not watching over me, it's kind of bad, right? You don't mind?
No, go for it. To tell you the truth, you're not much use to us anyway.
Oh, thanks a lot. You just had to rub it in.
Hey, but if you stayed, it wouldn't make much of a difference.
But you're supposed to be watching over me. The words coming out of his mouth were harsh, and the smile on his face was a hair away from sharp, but he just likes teasing you. Normally, he'd have to keep an eye on me constantly. That was the rule. So for him to let me go like this, it was incredibly generous.
Well, keep going down around that block. Have some tea. I'll come back to get you once we finish.
Right, thank you. I was nearly bouncing in my enthusiasm. He simply turned around, gestured to his men, and continued walking the patrol. Very well. Let us be off, Chizuru. The place over there has dumplings that are heavenly. Oh, dumplings sound so good. Okay. I want some why'd you have to do this to me game. She took hold of my hand and led me to a bench at a tea house where we sat down. I extend this invitation to you today because I wish to learn a little bit about you. About me? You are not from this city originally, correct? I was curious as to your reasons for coming here. And I hope you do not think me rude, but being a lone woman among a group of men such as the Shinsengumi is very odd. Well, I hesitated. I wasn't sure how much I could tell her. She must have seen how conflicted I was because... You have something pressing on your mind, or am I wrong? You certainly look as if you do. If I can be of help in any way, please. I am more than willing to listen if you desire to speak about it with someone. Her kind intentions were obvious, and I felt the emotional wall I'd erected several years ago begin to crumble. I could talk to her, right? If I made sure not to reveal any of the secrets the Shinsengumi told me upon pain of death, not to speak about, then the rest had to be okay. Well, I told Sen the story of how I ended up in Kyoto. I explained that since my father had been working for the Shinsengumi, they were taking care of me. Only the captains and leaders knew that I was a girl. The disguise was to keep up appearances for the regular rank-and-file soldiers. I also mentioned that my father was still missing, though we'd heard that he might have hidden himself among the Satsuma and Choshu. Ah, that is quite a tale. Though we are similar in ages, it appears you have experienced quite a bit. I looked down at my hands. Sen's voice when she spoke next was slow and hesitant. Would you mind terribly describing your father's appearance? I have a contact in Shimbara. The information network there is extensive. Most everything that happens in Kyoto is known by someone there. I gave her as accurate a description of him as I could, trying to remember every small detail. She nodded as she listened, and then I was done. I cannot be positive the man I'm thinking of is your father, but... Rumors have reached my ears about a number of suspicious people gathering recently in Shimbara. Among them, there appears to be an older man with a shaved head.
Yeah, I'm sure there aren't many of them around in all of Kyoto.
Oh, this could be the lead I was hoping for. But if it was him, then he was collaborating with dangerous people. Bad, father, bad. I must have looked worried because Sen placed her hand on my arm. Regardless of that information, I do not know if this man is the one you seek. Guess we'll have to see. I understand, but the possibility is there. We both sat and thought in silence for a few moments. Suddenly she turned toward me, an intense look in her eyes. If you intend to go to Shimbara, please call for me at any time. I know a few well-connected people in that area that I am sure will be of use to you. Thank you, Sen. I was definitely going to share this information with everyone as soon as I returned to headquarters with Okita. Maybe something would come of it.
I see. Interesting. Thank you for reporting this, Yukimura. We also received intel about a group of men meeting in the neighborhood of Shimbara. but the nature of that place makes entering it on official business difficult. Can't go rounding up every suspicious customer, especially without proof. So, we'd been considering potential plans of attack.
Suddenly, Nagakura, who'd been silent up until now, leaned forward with purpose.
Hey, Hijikata, what about this? What, got an idea? Leave it to me. This perfect body will get all the girls to fall all over me, so if they end up serving those guys, I can easily learn the information we need.
Really? I've heard you don't have such luck with the girls, Shinpachi. I think Harada is better off for that job. All around the room, faces turned owlishly toward him, and it was a few moments before anyone could speak.
Why did I think you had a valid contribution?
That'd never happen, Shin. You always go and spend a lot of money, but then you turn around and return home completely empty-handed.
Hey, what the hell? I was serious. It's a good plan. Women will do anything for the man they love.
And which women love you?
It'd take decades if it happened at all. You're forgetting geisha are known for keeping knowledge close to the chest. You'd never get anything out of them. Instead, it'd be faster to dress someone up as a geisha and have them hear the info from the source.
AKA me?
Valid point. But who would be able to do that?
Oh, we could try Heisuke, dress him up as a girl.
The Shinsengumi doesn't have women, let alone one capable of infiltrating.
What am I, chopped liver? I nervously raised my hand, interrupting him. Would I be okay? Actually, I think Hijikata would make a pretty good woman, too.
You? But we could never allow an innocent, unwed young lady to do such.
What, would it make it better if I was wed?
I'm totally against this. That place is full of drunks. Who knows what the hell they'd try to do to you?
Oh, why don't we let her? It's a good idea. I can't imagine her dressing up like a geisha, though. That might be a bit of a problem.
Chizuru, you don't have to do this. Have you thought at all about what might happen to you, or how you'd get out of a dangerous situation?
The room burst into noise. Everyone seemed to have a differing opinion. Not to mention the fact that I have no geisha training, and it's not just the thing that you do, they train a lot. Can't I just be a cleaning lady for the place and eavesdrop? I would infiltrate Shimbara. Man, that makes it sound like I'm going on Mission Impossible, doesn't it? Dun 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 do 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 do. I'd like to try. I think I'll be okay. I know someone who has connections in Shimbara. I won't be going in all alone. The leaders were unable to come to a consensus, so I decided to contact Sen. She responded the very next day. Sen! We were invited to a restaurant near the Nishi Hongonji Temple as our guests. And the purpose of the visit... Welcome, Chizuru. Everything is prepared for you. I'm very sorry for bothering you about this. Think nothing of the sort. I am simply glad I can be of assistance to you. You're so sweet, son. And there's Kimikiko all dressed up. Oh, we are well met again. I must say, I had never imagined such a favor being asked of me. You're... Then Kimikiko is the friend you mentioned, the one from Shimbara? It is true. My care has been in the hands of Princess for some time. All right, my friend. Let us get you ready. Come into the next room, if you please. I had my best kimono bought, so let us help you change into it. We shall also have your makeup done. Okay. Sen looked kind of sly there. Or was that just me? I followed them into the other room. How many of the guys are here anyway? A large case sat prominently in the center of the room. Opening it revealed a gorgeous kimono and obi, along with all the necessary underclothes, a delicate hairpin, and a makeup set. Try it on. We carefully considered what would look best on you, and chose these in particular. Yes. My hands were shaking. This stunning kimono was something I would never have seen, let alone wore normally. It was a little overwhelming. I removed my male disguise and began putting on the first layer of the kimono. Do I even know how to put it on? Dressing as a geisha wasn't something I ever thought I'd do in my life, but it felt good to, after such a long time, finally wear women's clothing again. A smile came to my face, and I realized I was happy. I'm a girl! Sen, Are you sure I look okay? Yes, you're fine. Very pretty. I have a feeling everyone will be surprised. Do you think so? It was the first time I'd ever worn something so elaborate, or put on makeup. The obi, the sleeves, even my hair, styled and tied up as it was heavy. They refused to allow me to glance in the mirror, so I had no idea what the final result was. Why couldn't I look at myself in the mirror, you cruel, cruel people? Sen and Kimigiku both assured me multiple times that I looked good in it. I wasn't sure if I should take that as praise. I apologize for keeping you waiting so terribly long. She's ready now. As she spoke, she placed her hands on my shoulder, flashed me a quick smile, and firmly pushed me through the doorway. I actually get to see it! Aww. The moment my foot stepped inside, all conversation ceased. That's right. Behold my beauty, everyone. Be in awe. I put my brother Kaoru to shame with this. My heart thundered in my ears. I was so embarrassed. I couldn't raise my head, so I kept my gaze trained on the floor. That won't do. Maybe this wouldn't work. I likely looked frumpy and plain. In fact, I was sure I did. Beautiful kimonos such as this weren't made to look good on someone like me.
Hey, is that person there really Chizuru? That's not really her, is it?
My head shot up. Heisuke's eyes were wide in his face, and his eyebrows had nearly disappeared into his hairline. Yes, it's me. Is it that bad? In an instant, he turned bright red and shook his head.
No, not at all. In fact, you look...
Finish it. Sexy?
Whoa, what a surprise. Who would have thought you'd change so much like that? It's a totally different you. Not bad. You'd fit in among the women, no problem. The patrons would approve.
Interesting. That's quite a transformation. Took me a minute to even recognize you.
It had a good foundation to build on. You look very pretty, Chizuru.
So we're getting everybody's reactions here?
No way! This isn't how you normally look at all. Who was I looking at this whole time?
Unexpectedly, they only had praise for my appearance. I found that I was having difficulty looking at anyone. Sen turned toward me, her features schooled from the small smile she'd been wearing, and explained what I was to do. You can't teach someone how to be a geisha in like 30 minutes. Chizuru, it would be both to work at Sumi as a geisha. What should I do when I'm called to attend a customer? Geisha entertain, but I don't know how to dance or play any sort of instrument.
You have not received the training, and thus we cannot expect you to do that much. We will simply require you to pour sake.
Ah, that doesn't sound hard. I should at least be able to do that much.
Anything happens, send a note to headquarters.
Yes, sir.
The warrior that receives it will head to you as a customer. Report the situation to them.
How long am I gonna be here?
As a precaution, Saito and Yamazaki will be placed on standby at the Sumi. You need immediate assistance, go to them, got it?
Yes, I understand. Shortly thereafter, I left with Sen and Kimigiku and headed to Shimbara. Shimbara, here I come! To begin my life as a fake geisha. It was early evening. A small group of customers seemed to have gathered in the Sumi. Perhaps my father was among them. Making up my mind, I headed that direction in hopes of possibly finding out some information. As I reached the hallway outside the banquet room, I was able to overhear snippets of conversation. Silently, I slid the sliding door open a fraction, not enough for anyone inside to notice, and leaned in to listen. A few of the warriors had distinctive accents from the western side of Japan, where the Satsuma and Higo were located.
But I heard members of the Shinsengumi visit that place a lot. Maybe it would have been better if we had gone to Gion instead.
Do I look like I give a damn? I'm not afraid of the shogunate's dogs clinging to their old-fashioned ideas. I'll show them how wrong they are.
Judging by how antagonistic they were toward the Shinsengumi, the men were probably part of the Imperial Nationalist Army. Were they planning something? I tried to peek through the crack. My father didn't seem to be among them at all, but... What should I do? Should I let them know this at headquarters? Probably. Doesn't need to be right away, though, I don't think. Let's see. I must write a note. I needed to let everyone know about this back at headquarters. Careful to make as little noise as possible, I padded away from the door, returning to the room Sen had prepared for me. Once inside, I pulled out a brush and inkwell. Just as I was about to start, I hesitated. Who should I address it to? Hijikata, of course. Why would I address it to Okita? Hijikata would be the best choice in this situation, right? Well, I don't know. Then again, it might be better not to write Hijikata because if somebody intercepted the letter. Oh well. My decision made, I carefully wrote out my note. When I finished, I asked the young apprentice to hand it off to a messenger so it could be delivered. It didn't take long to receive a response from Hijikata. The note said, "I will arrive at the Sumi shortly, posing as a customer. Wait for me." I thought it best to stay put in an unoccupied private room until he arrived, so that I was out of the way. I was close enough to the room with the suspicious men that I could hear the rise and fall of their voices, but not their words. Can I put a cup to the wall? Was it okay that I wasn't keeping an eye on them? I fervently hoped they wouldn't decide to leave before Hijikata arrived. Minutes ticked by, and I was beginning to feel restless just waiting. A slight sound caught my ear. The sliding door to my room opened and someone entered. "Is that you, Hijikata?" Just the fact that I said that probably means it's not. I turned around. No!
Who do you have me confused with?
Why are you here? Why was Kazuma here? It couldn't be a coincidence that he was there at the same time as the group of men I overheard earlier. I had to make sure he didn't realize who I was. I thought he already recognized me, actually. If he told the other men that I was here, then our plan to uncover information about my father would go to waste.
You said the name Hijikata. Were you referring to the commander of the Shinsengumi?
No, nothing like that. I just mistook you for someone else when you entered. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of people named Hijikata. Anyway, what are you doing here? Are you meeting with someone in particular?
The disgusting festivities in the other room made me feel ill, so I left. That's all. To be forced to drink with scum who believe they're patriots when they are simply worthless, that is an affront to the act of drinking.
I guess that meant he was with that group of warriors.
What are you doing? Prepare some sake immediately. I need to wash the foul taste from my mouth.
I gotta get rid of you. Hijikata's coming here. Apparently, he commanded strangers the same way he did me, arrogant and dismissive. If things stayed in my favor like this, I had a chance to learn information about the suspicious men from him, but if I messed up, he'd find out who I really was, and with no one else here, I might end up in real trouble. What should I do? I shall try to slip away, which gets me a CG, but like hell this is gonna work. I shouldn't do anything without Hijikata's orders. Any way I look at it, it was too dangerous to try to find out information from Kazuma.
What's wrong? Did you not hear me? I need you to prepare some sake.
Yes, please wait for one moment. I had to make it look like I was going to bring him sake and somehow get out of here. We're out of sake, I gotta get some from the other room. Hijikata would arrive soon. I left Kazuma behind in the private room and headed into the hallway. An apprentice prepared some clogs for me, but there had been no need for me to practice with the tall clogs geisha had to wear, so it was my first time putting them on. I could barely stay upright without flailing my arms. That's not good. Did they wear shoes like this every day? They were so hard to walk in. Wobbling with every step, I slowly found my way outside the Sumi. Oh! I hadn't gotten far when I spotted Hijikata back in the crowd. Hijikata! He turned around at the sound of my voice calling out to him. When he reached me, his eyes widened in surprise.
Chizuru, is that you?
You were there when I first changed. Yes, I had to tell you something, so... I began trying to explain what happened earlier, but something was wrong. Hijikata seemed strangely unfocused, and he wouldn't stop staring at me. He was there, right? I'm pretty sure he was one of the ones who made comments. Hijikata? Is something the matter?
Oh no, sorry. You're talking like usual even though you're dressed like that. It's just throwing me off.
Aww, Hijikata's blushing. The words dragged out of him, as if he was uncomfortable. He shook his head once to clear it.
So you sent me a note. Must mean you got some intel for us at the Sumi.
Oh right, yes. I did find a group of suspicious warriors. They're in there right now having a meeting. I listened in on them a little, and I think they're planning something horrible. I gave my report, Hijikata's face growing graver with every word I spoke.
You got enough for us to mobilize on. We're going to headquarters, bringing back the men. Haven't done a raid this big in a while.
Did you warn him about Kazuma? Okay. I moved to follow Hijikata when... I took 2 steps at a run in high clogs when my foot slipped and I crashed to the ground. Oh, how embarrassing. Ow. I tried to right myself, but a fiery bolt of pain shot through my ankle. Great.
You alright? Grab my hand. It's because you're not used to those shoes.
He carefully helped me upright. But these are the kind that geisha have to wear.
Is your ankle broken? Let me look.
Oh, I think I'm fine. I just slipped and fell.
So long as it's not broken, shut up and show me.
Okay. His hands gently grasped my leg and delicately probed around my ankle to see if I had indeed broken it or not. I knew he had no alternative motive, but perhaps it was because I'd been forced to wear men's clothing for so long, but it felt different now that I was in a kimono. The fact that he was touching me, the warmth from his fingers lingering, I could feel my face heating up.
Seems it's just a sprain. If you let it be for a few days, the pain will fade.
Yes.
We need to get going. Might be better if you take those clogs off and run.
You're right. Slipping the high clogs off took but a moment. My socks and hem would get a little dirty. We didn't have time to worry about that, though. It was inconsequential if we had to get back in time.
Don't let go of my hand. Your ankle's sprained, so you can't run on your own. Understand?
Yes, thank you. Why don't you carry me? I had to limp slightly to minimize the pain, but with Hijikata's assistance, we quickly made it to the large gate and moved to leave.
Hey, wait a moment. You, sir, where are you planning on taking that geisha?
The man who stopped us must have been a barker working for the Sumi.
No time to explain. We're in a rush. Can't delay for stupid questions. But we can't let you do that, man. You want to rakuseki a geisha, you gotta take the appropriate steps.
I think that means, buying the geisha out. Yeah, the payment of the remainder of a geisha or prostitute's debt to free them from service. That's what I thought. Oh! Because I was dressed up like a geisha, the man must have thought that Hijikata was trying to sneak me out of the Sumi in order to run away with me. It didn't help that he was holding my hand as well. It couldn't look like anything else to the people on the street.
What? Rakuseki? What the hell? This girl's not even a... Okay, calm down. Are you trying to elope then? A pretty thing like her. I understand your blood rushing to places and losing your head for a minute there. We can discuss this all you want, no problem. So if you would just come this way. I told you she's not a geisha.
Hijikata attempted to explain, but the man just continued to endlessly placate him, likely having heard similar excuses many times before. The more he tried to clear up the situation, the more suspicious it made him look.
What's that commotion over there? Is it 2 drunks going at it again?
No, looks like there's a love-struck fool trying to take home a geisha.
A crowd was gathering. Things were spiraling out of control quickly. What should we do? I could only stand in front of everyone, feeling exposed and at a complete loss. Hijikata wrapped his arms around me, pulling me close to him in a tight protective grip. His face looked thunderous. Oh, this is weird. Woo, we got a picture!
Who the hell do you think I am? The commander of the Shinsengumi isn't some cheapskate who'd run off with a geisha.
What is your explanation going to be here? His voice rang out with force and restrained anger.
Shinsengumi?
The man turned deathly pale and staggered back a step. Rounding on the crowd, Hijikata pierced each onlooker with a razor-sharp glare. Well, so much for surprise and stealth and spying.
I'm taking this girl into custody. You got a problem with that? You come see me at headquarters.
The thinly veiled threat came out as a low growl. The moment was like something out of a story or a fairy tale. Hijikata was an attractive man, and him holding me close to his chest, defending me from a hostile crowd, felt like a dream. Things like that never happen in real life.
I'm incredibly sorry for being so rude to you, sir.
You should be.
Still pale, the man bowed jerkily.
Hey, this isn't a free show. Hurry the hell up and get out of my way.
The demon glared at the crowd again, and people started scrambling to open up a path for him.
Chizuru, does your ankle still hurt?
Oh, I'm fine.
Then let's go. Those warriors holed up in the Sumi might have heard the commotion and split already.
Oh, I was afraid Kazuma was going to come out after us, actually. Okay. He took my hand again, and we hurried out the gates of Shimbara. Run, 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 run. Once we reached headquarters, Hijikata quickly rounded all the men up and returned to the Sumi. The arrests went off without a hitch. The warriors were none the wiser when they stepped out on the street. Questioning them led to the discovery of a plot to attack the headquarters. However, because of Hijikata's quick thinking and mobilization, we were able to make sure it wouldn't happen. Woohoo! Disaster averted. But what about Kazuma? I guess he must have left. A few days later, Hijikata and I returned to Shinbara again to thank Sen and Kimigiku for their help. When we neared the Sumi... Oh my! Look there! That man is Hijikata, the one I told you he eloped with a geisha.
Oh, good lord.
So bold and romantic. If only a lady killer like him would come to sweep me off my feet. He is quite the catch. The geisha were in a flurry, giggling and gossiping about the commander behind the large latticed windows of the geisha house. Hijikata bore it all in silence, not a single spark of acknowledgement that he heard them, until we moved past. Then he sighed.
I told them I wasn't eloping. Rumors are always exaggerated, but I wish they'd come up with a better one.
I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize, it's not your fault. Besides, we wouldn't have caught those men if it weren't for your intel. I'll just have to keep my distance for a while. I've become a little too recognizable around here.
I suppose so. He didn't come as often as Nagakura, Harada, and Heisuke did, but even Hijikata probably wanted to visit Shinbara occasionally to relax and have a drink.
Though, now if I want a drink, I just need you to pour me some.
That's right, I have some experience now. Now I can not only serve tea, I can also pour drinks. I could hear the smile in his voice. Abruptly, he stopped walking and turned to look at me.
The kimono you wore the other day wasn't bad. If you were a geisha, plenty of men would want to be your husband.
Really?
Not sure you're clever enough to play that game, though.
Oh.
I do think you'll become a good, capable woman in a few years. You need to fall in love with a decent man and know what a positive relationship is first. Don't fall for an incompetent fool.
I guess I'm in luck. All the guys in the Shinsengumi are wonderful people who are not fools, except for maybe Heisuke. The way he spoke was that of a grown man that had experienced a great many things in his life, good and bad. He'd obviously had a few love affairs at some point. The knowledge he'd gained from each laced every word, and even I could hear it. I think I understand now why you're so popular with women, Hijikata.
What? You think that was flattery? If I was still a kid lugging a medicine box around, maybe. But now it's not worth my time. Hurry it up. Let's get this over with so we can go back to work.
Okay. If he wasn't trying to flatter me, then... Did that mean he honestly thought I looked pretty dressed as a geisha? Yep. If that was true, I couldn't help but feel pleased. Maybe there'd be a day, not too far into the future, when I'd be able to wear women's clothing again. When that time came, I hoped Hijikata would be around to see. My thoughts continued along that vein as I watched his back while he led me down the streets of Shinbara. And that's the end of the chapter. Yeah, this is a bit of a long video for me, but from the choices I could tell, it was nearing the end there, so I decided to go ahead and finish it. So, next episode will be Hijikata Memories of Love, Part 2, and he has 8 parts. We'll see if any of them are really short. Maybe I'll try to squeeze 2 into 1. We'll see how they come along. I have no idea how long these things are going to be. But, you know, Hijikata's the one that had the longest route in the game anyway, so he might actually have the most and longest extras. We'll see as things progress. So, hope to see you in that next video of mine or some of my other ones. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.